Hi, welcome back. I have a part today that I want to show you that is a sort of a two-stage part to make. And this is the part we'll be making. And as you can see, this boss area actually sticks up. And so we have what we want to call a base view or a base part that we'll start with, and it's this section right here. So we'll focus on this section and we'll exclude this part that sticks up that you can see in the side view. So the way I want to start that is I'd like to just orient the part in the same fashion that you're looking at it. And so I'll anchor the 0, 0 point on the X and Y axis right to this point here. So I'll throw this out of the way and start a sketch, and once again we'll go ahead and set it up on XY because that's how it is oriented. And so the first thing that I want to do is to create this feature, which is a slot. And so I'll pick up the slot tool, which you can find right under this menu, and I will start the slot here in the 0, 0. So this is going to be my origin, and it wants to know how far out that slot or how long that slot is, and that slot is 1 inch long. And the next thing that it wants to know is how big is that slot in terms of the diameter of the circle, and it is a 1/4 of an inch, so 0.25, and there's our slot. So that's a pretty fast tool right there to use. And so the next thing that I will do is to create this circle and feature here, and that's a radius of 375, which turns out to be 0.75 in a diameter, which is how this machine is set up right now. So I'll pull this out to 0.75, and now I've got that round feature created. Next thing that I'll do is just to go ahead and put some horizontal lines out in this direction, and I'll just pull them out until they're horizontal. And I'll do that again right here. And so at this point, what I can do is because I've got this created right here, now I'm going to do this feature on this side, the right hand side. And so all I'm going to do at this point is to change it from the slot tool to the rectangle tool. And I like to use the rectangle tool because you can see that it puts in the constraints so that it remains a rectangle right off the bat. And so at this point what I need to do is to go ahead and just begin to dimension things and take control of this rectangle. So I can see that this rectangle on this side is going to be 1.5 inches, and that this rectangle up here, this part of it, is going to be 1 inch. And what I'd like to do now is to get this thing in the right position. So I'm going to pick up a constraint that is going to help me do that. And what I want to do is to say that this center point of this line is going to be horizontal with this line. So that is quite powerful to be able to control the location of that box in the center line. So now I want one more dimension. I want to come from this point over to the center of this circle and pull this up, and the dimension here is 2.5. So you can see how everything just sort of automatically scales to the right location. Now we'll go ahead and we'll put this fillet feature in. And I'm going to pick the arc tool, and I'm going to use a 3-point arc. And I'm going to put an arc from here down to here, and I'm just going to place it in here. And so I need to be able to control that arc, and I need to say that this arc is tangent with this line, and it already is, so I can cancel that. Then this arc is tangent with this line. So now I have a nice, perfectly placed tangent arc. It's tangent on both sides, tangent to this line and now tangent to this line. And it also intersects right here with this top part of the feature. So I will go ahead again and pull up an arc, and I'll place the arc in this direction over this way, and it doesn't matter because I'll go ahead and assign it. Let's just make sure now that it's tangent. So this arc is tangent with this line, and that this line is tangent with this line, and it looks like it is. So what I want to do now is just check to see that everything is tangent, and so if I select that, you can see where everything is in terms of all of those different constraints. So I'll deselect, and you can see that I've got a number of things that aren't quite exactly right. This line, I'm going to pick up the tangent tool. This line needs to be tangent with this circle, and this line needs to be tangent with this circle, which automatically fixes this problem. And it looks like all I need to do now is trim out the pieces I don't need. I don't need that, or that, or that, or that. I don't need any of this. And you can see that it is losing some of its constraints. Many times when you're using Inventor, you're going to get into a situation where you can't figure out why something is unconstrained. A lot of people go to this automatic dimension and constraint, but that creates a lot of dimensions and constraints that you don't use. So you need to kind of hold yourself just to a little bit of higher level and learn to solve these problems for yourself. And I would offer to you that one way to do that is to grab onto some of the geometry and say, what is it that is unconstrained? Okay, so in this case, what's actually moving is this part of the geometry right here. So again, if I pick this and I move it around, you can see that it's not locked. And so what I need to be able to do then is to horizontally lock this side of it. So it might be a little hard to see, but you can see it's not actually right on the center line. So it needs to be horizontal, and I placed a click there with any of these horizontal lines. And now it's locked, and you can see that there are a number of changes that have just happened that where it went to the purple color. And so we'll continue to work to figure out what it is in particular that is changing it, and I'll check that. So now I've got a fully constrained object, but I do have some other features that I don't need, some other geometry. So I need to get rid of this piece of geometry, and it won't allow me to delete that because it's part of this right here. So what I might be able to do, I might be able to get rid of this one. But I can't get rid of, I could get rid of it, but now I've got something that's a little bit different. Let me see, let me try to react to this and just lock this in. And so that solved that one. And let me see what it is that's moving here. What is it? Oh, okay, there it is right there. So as I drag it and pull it, I can see that that's the part that's free and unconstrained. And so what I need to be able to do, let me just say that this is equal, so that this line is equal with this line. Now I fixed it. So I offer to you that the solution for finding out what is not locked and constrained is to grab that piece that is not constrained and try to move it around. So at this point I can hit Finish Sketch. And so this is the feature that we wanted to create. You can see that the geometry there matches and the dimensions match, and they're the pieces that we need. So at this point I'll hit E for Extrude, and this will be the piece that we want to extrude. This is the base feature, and so the thickness of this is 1/8 of an inch, or 0.125. So 0.125. And now we can see this, and I can hit check mark, and we have this part ready to go. So the next step then is to put this boss feature here. And so we've got to create the geometry for that. So I'll throw this out of the way. And I want to then create a sketch here on this surface. And so I'll just set new sketch, and it's ready to go. And there's something that I need to do. It's called project geometry. So I can't really do anything until I project the actual lines that exist in this part that will help me. I have nothing really that I can hook onto, so I have to project some geometry. Now I can project this, or I can hover over a surface and get it all, and I usually just project it all. And so at this point now I have some geometry that will help me, and I know that the part that I need is going to be, I'll go ahead, I know I need a slot, and that this slot is going to be in length 0.75, and that the cross section of that slot, or the diameter, is 0.25. And so now I have my slot created, so I'll just escape, and now I can create a rectangle. And I'm not trying to constrain this yet, but now I'll go ahead and place in some dimensions. I know that this is supposed to be 0.5, and that over here is supposed to be 1.25. And so another thing I can do now is I can set a horizontal constraint here with this. I also can take this line, and I want it to align with the center of this line, and so if I hover over this center point and I want to line it up with this center point, now I've got that done. If I want this arc to be centered with this center point, that straightens all of that up. And so now I have a very good solution to this problem. I've created that geometry, and you can see the power of the constraints, and that everything is constrained, and that there's nothing that's not the proper color. And so what I'll do now is finish the sketch, and then I will hit E for extrude, and I'll hover in this spot and bring this up 0.125, which is already set up. And you can see then that that part is completed. So quite a little bit of fun there for you. Please make sure that you master this and you're able to produce this at least 2 and sometimes 3 times to really get it down. And I'll talk to you in the next video. I hope this helps. Have a great day.